All right, here we are. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm on with Kevin Transue, my good buddy from Kansas City, home of the football team owned by what's her face? Never mind. We won't go there. Anyway, thanks for being here, Kevin. We kind of threw this little get together to talk about making more money in your design business. And plus, I'd like to take a few minutes. We'll talk about the summit we got coming up in March of next year. So if you are so inclined, we'd love to hear from you guys. Any questions, things like that. So Kevin and I have been in this business for a little while now. I've been doing it for ever. Literally, I mean, 1976 is when I got into this industry. So forever. But now the chief architect world is where we're at right now. We're really enjoying it. Now, Kevin, you've been doing this for a long time too, right?
I have. About, what's it been now? 23, 24 years?
24, yeah. And you ran a very successful construction company for a long time, and finally quit doing that. We won't say you wised up, but that's kind of what it feels like, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it didn't have to do with changing climate in the industry or anything else. It had to do with changing age in my body. And I just reached a point where my time was better spent not crawling around on the floor than crawling around on the floor. Yeah. So made some changes and decided that I would concentrate wholly in remodeling. I mean, in design rather than in the construction side, and continuing to help people in design, but also take the years of experience and help people who are in this field learn how to do it a little better.
Yeah, and you do such a nice job with that too. I just love listening to when you are chatting with people about that. We've got Doug from Ontario here, and architectural craftsman Mary, and hello from Mary in sunny Overland Park, Kansas. Who is that again? The name, I'd have to go look up the name. Huh?
You know Mary. Mary's Miniature Events. And
yes.
Yeah, and she
I should have looked it up before I said anything. Good afternoon, Southwest Louisiana, and thanks for being here, you guys. Again, we're just here to chat. Nothing too major we want to cover, but one of the topics that always comes up, and I just, I do work with a contractor, local contractor here, and they do these really nice projects. And, when I've been in Chief a long time, I've been drawing plans a long time, and I'd like to do a really nice job on my plans. I don't want to do a half-assed job. I like things to be accurate, to be well done, clearly spelled out.
Fully.
And it takes time to do that. Right, Kevin? I mean,
yes.
You can't just pop together a plan in a couple hours and call it good. It really takes a lot of time to think through a plan to the fullest extent. I just did an addition on a garage for a golf room, a really nice plan, and I forget how much time I had. And we had combined between me and the other designers that were working on it, well over 100 hours, 120 hours. And then my time was spent, doing the working drawings and 3D modeling and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of time into it. This dang company never charges enough money for their design services. It drives me nuts. So it seems like every time I work with them, it's like I know they're going to lose money because I'm going to charge more for the plans than they've charged their client. And they're okay with that because the plans I turn out save them so much money in the course of the project that it works out for them. So, I've been having this conversation with them about, how do you charge more for your plans so that you can afford, just so you make it a profit center in your business. And that's kind of what that was all about. So I've been preaching about this for a long time. And my little story comes from back in 1993 when I was still contracting. Actually, it was earlier than that. It was like 90 or 89. I went to a job site to look at a project. And I was super busy at the time, so I really didn't have much bandwidth to take on more projects. but it was, a nice little room addition, a kitchen remodel. I mean, just a really nice project. And these were super nice people, and they were a strong referral. And I kind of wanted to bow out gracefully. So I just went and I said, I'd love to work on your plan. This is the perfect kind of projects for us. And to get started, we usually charge $750 for, get started on the plans. Thinking he would say, "Oh, yeah, that's all right. Never mind. We'll call someone else." He walks in the other room, comes back, hands me a check for $750, and I'm going, "Huh?" It's like, "Okay, we'll get started." Anyway, the project went great. It's just like it was a wonderful project. We managed to fit it in, and everything went great. And the biggest lesson I learned from that is I can charge for plans. No one ever told me before that time, and I've been doing remodeling for a while, you can charge for your planning services. Like, duh. So from that point forward, I charged something on every project that I would look at, whether it was $100 just to show up or something. People knew they were going to pay to have the plans done on a project. Fast forward, I make a substantial amount of my revenue doing plans for other people. I do coaching, I do, training classes, in person and online. Both you and I do one-on-one training. So we make revenue other ways, but a big portion of what I do is planning services. So when you put it all together, it makes it worthwhile to do all of that stuff. So what I want to do is I prepared this PowerPoint. Let me just bring it up here. Kevin, can you switch to full screen? You have the controls there.
I have the controls?
Yeah, you have the same controls I do. So
I would love to switch to full screen.
I could do it.
Okay.
It's just when I go full screen in PowerPoint, it makes the screen full. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll move this over here, and then I'll go full PowerPoint. There we go. Now you should be able to see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, we're back to the presentation of the PowerPoint software instead of your actual presentation screen.
We're on the wrong screen. Let me switch screens here. Stop sharing. Software.
John, who usually does our engineering, is not on the call, so we're left to our devices, and that's dangerous.
He's he's not quite on his way to. Oh yeah, he probably is today on his way to India. I think he said he was going out there today. Oh, I'm still on the wrong screen. Stop sharing. Present. Share screen. This one. There we go. Now you should see that. All right. Yes. Yeah, John's going to what was it? His one of his family members' friend is having a wedding there, and they were invited. So Patty and John have been looking forward to that. So they're going to be there 10 days, I guess. So kudos for them. That'd be fun to hear what the experiences they have.
I've heard those weddings in India are supposed to be something really dramatic,
extravagant, colorful days of celebration.
Yeah.
So I've heard that too. And so it'd be fun to be part of one. Anyway, but we're stuck here talking about design services. So I guess we'll just have to do that. Well, that's for being blunt. So you guys on the call are watching the video later. Some of you are in different situations. Some of you are full-blown designers. That's what you do to make a living. Some of you are contractors that you do draw plans as part of selling your projects, and then kind of everything in between. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So I've done this over the years that we presented this, and I just want to run through part of this slideshow, and we'll maybe pick it up again another day. So what, part of the deal is, what's the problem with plans? Okay. Sometimes contractors don't make planning a priority. They look at it kind of as a, something they got to do to sell the project, kind of a unnecessary evil, I guess you'd call it. So they don't get too excited about doing a good set of plans, and that affects the whole thought process that goes into selling that service. The mindset doesn't see the value in creating a set of plans that will work for you. Actions are to give it away. Again, the contractor I was talking about earlier, just we've had these conversations and we keep having them, and I'll keep having them until I get them to start charging enough for their plans. They get this mindset that they can't charge more for the plans because then they won't get the project. And I know contractors that charge a lot of money for their planning services and they get the projects. They probably get more projects because they value themselves and their services, and they put themselves on a higher playing field. So part of it's just mindset. And then again, the bottom line gets ignored when you do that. So design should be a profit center, and plans are not a commodity. New homes, sure, you can go online and buy new home plans. We've all seen the planning services, and some of them are really good. You can buy a set of plans and build it. Done. Okay, perfect. Go that way as long as you have a good set of plans to build from. Others, remodeling, not so much. You have to pretty much go out and do an as-built and design custom for every single project that you do. Kevin, do you do new home plans now too, or are you doing mostly remodeling?
It's a mix right now. I've got some custom that I'm doing right now, and I don't do tract homes or things like that. That would be multiples.
Okay. Yeah. Each one's custom, and you do really cool custom stuff anyway. So, I mean, when someone hires you, they're going to get cool shit, cool stuff. I've seen some of your projects, so yeah, I know exactly where you come from. But you got to have a set of plans, and what's it take to create those plans? It takes time, more detail, more time. Well, we'll talk about percentages later. The theme better plans equal better projects. That really holds true in so many cases. Have you ever built a project with a not very good set of plans?
Yes.
How'd that project go?
Not the best.
Yeah.
I think the answer is it's always better if you have a good set of plans.
Yeah. There's kind of, when I used to work on the job sites all the time back in the day when I was a contractor, I could have a bad set of plans and I'd do a really good job on the project because I'd figure it out as I go. Not everybody can do that. And especially, when you have employees out on the field and the subs show up and you're trying to explain things to everybody and the set of plans doesn't have anything on it. And it's like, what are we supposed to do? So guess what happens? Lots of mistakes. Anyway, I already talked about this a little bit. How I arrived here, my butt off for many years, what's involved in planning, building a project, stages of a project, 15 reasons you charge for plans, and summary. We're not going to get all this covered. We'll probably get half of this. And then we're going to talk about the summit. So if you guys are interested, stay on for that. So yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I already talked about that a little bit. So, but drawn thousands of plans and I've trained thousands of people. It's really been a fun deal. Here's actually that project that I was telling you about, where I walked in. This is the actual house, and super nice people. Anyway, so I went in, tried to bow out gracefully, and they ended up giving me money, and I got paid for my plans. So this is kind of an interesting chart here. So there's a site out there called castlebri.com. It's run by Lauren. He's a good friend of mine. And you can download this from his website. Just you'll find it when you poke through their process, and he has this on there. It's been updated since I did the slideshow, but it's really basically the same thing. It's the process that goes into creating doing a construction project. You've got getting the lead, you visit the site, you walk through the project, you come up, you start doing the plans and the design, and you get your plan to a point where, okay, so you've done all your preliminary, you've done enough pricing, you got the rough pricing, and either you're going to move forward or you're going to stop. All right. So, but look at all the work that's gone into getting to that point all by itself. And some people will go and do some plans, get some rough ideas so they can come up with a bit of a budget. And they'll do that for free. Kevin, I know you don't do that for free. I don't do that for free anymore. But if you're going to do it for free, don't use the word free. Just say it's complimentary. It's one of those things. It's a word, but it really does make a big difference.
Yeah, free is free is a wonderful thing when you're the shopper, but it diminishes the impact and the value of your message if you
Yes.
throw it out there indiscriminately. So
Yep.
a lot of times, you are providing it at no cost, and you can say that it's free, but a lot of things are in the way that you word things, and
Yeah.
at no cost or complimentary or words like that have a higher value to the consumer than free does.
Well, by saying complimentary, that means that you're attaching a value to it, but you're okay giving it to them as a complimentary. You might say, normally we charge $500 to do this service, but in your case, we're going to you give it to you complimentary, and we'll kind of go on from there.
No, I never
All
say
right. Words matter. Okay. And then you have your design process. So you're going to move forward. So you have everything that you're going to do in the design. Then you have your estimating process where you got to put together all the proposals, all the numbers, get all the bids from your subs, do your walkthroughs, all of that kind of stuff. Then you got your proposals, the contracts, all the paperwork that's involved in the project. Then you've got to go through the project. You got change orders. You've got everything on completion. You got a punch list, and punch lists can, many times they can make or break the profit in a job. If you've got big punch lists and your people haven't been very attentive on the job, yeah, that last 10% can kill you. I know that's never happened to you, Kevin.
Never. No.
It happened to me a couple times when I was doing construction. I remember one job. I did a big job when I was winding down my construction business. It was 1995. It was a $250,000 job. Now, that's double, triple that now. But we were doing a second floor addition, and we were trying to match the 8-inch cedar siding. And as we built it, the client says, "Yeah, we're going to replace all the siding on the bottom of the house too." And I totally blew the estimate on the siding. I lost thousands of dollars on that siding change order. Plus, we got some siding that came out bad. Anyway, it contributed to a huge punch list of shit that shouldn't have been there. Excuse, I got to quit swearing. Anyway. And then you got your project review, walkthrough, warranty, all that stuff. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that goes into project. Put that all together and it looks like this. Okay. So, and I know Lauren's done an update on this process. So go check it out, castlebri.com, find the process, and you can download his thing. It's a good thing to show your clients. Just take his name off of it and you can show it to clients. It's the process that goes into the job. Now, take out this part of it. Okay. That's the part that we do, this design part. Okay. Take that out. Now it's gone. What's going to happen to the rest of this process? Okay. It's going to falter. You're going to, a good set of plans in this part of the project can make or break the rest of the job. And I think we all know that. So fortunately we have the tools here in Chief Architect to do a good job and that kind of stuff. You got anything you want to add to that, Kevin?
Yeah. I've got a lot actually to throw into the conversation, but like for instance, Doug Norton says free is often very expensive for somebody. And that somebody is generally the person who's trying to build the job. So there is a lot there to be considered when you're looking at how does design play a role in this, which also says then there's a lot of value in design. So when you start moving that back up the scale and say all the way from the start, you've got value to offer and you should be compensated for it. It really becomes a mindset change in your process to develop then that profit center up front, to get yourself into a situation where even the words free, complimentary, or whatever else don't even need to come out because you have established that you are valuable in this capacity.
Yes, it's your system. It's your way of doing business. So yes, there are still places you can build a project with a plan like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it though.
And there are also things like, who is this that's saying this? I don't know. Dimensions, whoever Dimensions is. I take a retainer first. Part of the process of effectively valuing your time to the point that someone else values your time, and then establishing a process that gets you paid for that time. So a lot of those things you also need to be cognizant of the way that you term things, word things, and contract things to make sure that you're getting yourself getting into a good position. So even the idea of taking the retainer, okay, but what's the retainer for? What have you obligated yourself for in that process? So it sounds good when you're throwing it out in the conversation, but there are a lot of things to consider about it in order that in the end you actually get paid for the design, somebody doesn't contest that payment, and that you get to keep it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Accurate, well thought out, and detailed plans for any project. Discovery, concepts, selections, 3D plans, details, estimates, variances, sum studies, aging in place, surveys, blueprints, budgets, energy, green, regulation, drainage, historical. Oh, that's it for that. And I'm sure we could sit here and add dozens of more words to this list of things that you as a designer have to know in order to create building projects in this day and age. You know, nowadays, it's all about built fences, and it's all about surveys and setbacks. And I mean, just on and on and on and on it goes. Every project I do, I think I know a lot about construction, but it seems like every project I do these days, they throw something else at me. Really? I got to go figure that out now. Are you finding that, Kevin?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, the governmental regulations, I guess where I've seen it most strict is probably California, and then states like Washington, Texas to some degree, Arizona, the Kansas City starting, to get to a point where some of the regulations, requirements for the design are verging on absurd. Yeah. But I get what they're trying to do. There's a balance there that is a little bit imbalanced right now, and that means essentially that you are either going to make less money on your front end designs, or you're going to need to charge even more for them. Yeah. The reality is you're worth it. You should be charging for it. Yeah. Somebody has to do it, whether it's you or the next guy. Somebody has to produce the plans to get that project approved.
And again, I think a lot of people, when you look at this list and you add lots of more things to it, you guys know a lot of stuff. And it's just like, it's not brain surgery, but it kind of is, because you know a lot of stuff that a brain surgeon wouldn't know. And of course, you don't really want to know what a brain surgeon does because you don't do brain surgery. But nonetheless, that's what people pay for. They're paying for our knowledge and our ability to figure these things out for them. So it's important, and someone's got to do it. So the initial consultation and budget assessment. Okay. So those that, every project starts with that. Someone calls you up and says, yeah, how much is it going to cost to do a room addition like this? It's like, I don't know. I mean, of course, these days I don't get too much involved in the pricing, but most of the time someone will. We got to find out somehow how much the project is going to go for. And most people are always blown away by the budgets these days. I would assume you're experiencing that too, Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although I'm still amazed that it's so busy out there that can't keep up. So that's another good thing. So the money's flowing out there, even with the prices of the projects where they're at. So do you do your initial consultations for free, or do you charge? Are you a good fit? We don't have to get into you charge or not. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people don't. I do sometimes I don't. Depends on who the client is that calls me. Am I a good fit for that client? Are they a good fit for me? Okay. I got one client right now that I'm on the fence about. Do I want to keep working for those people? Because their design ideas are so cockeyed that every time I talk to them, it's just like they make it more cockeyed. They won't listen to me. Anyway, it is what it is. So I'll do my best to keep working with them and straighten it out. Establish reality. That's kind of what I was just talking about. When you talk about budget and in the initial design is 5,000 square feet, and their budget's 800,000, and they want to do all this nice stuff. you say, well, that's 5,000 is, it's not going to cover a 5,000 square foot building with these kind of things you want. We need to scale it back. So we do that, and then they scale it back up again. So either they have money that they weren't talking about, or they're not listening. So, and of course,
I think a lot of times, though, I mean, there's certainly a lot of keeping your cards close to your chest in that process, because people are suspicious and they're already protecting themselves coming in the door. The other thing is that they've decided among themselves that, look, we've got $500,000 to spend on this project, but if we start there, it's going to be 800. So let's start at 300,000 and see what we can do.
Yeah.
You may know as the designer that what they're asking for is unrealistic. And when you put the fence up and say, in order for you to hit 300,000, we have to back these things down, it puts them in a position of saying, okay, I either am going to admit that I have more, or I'm going to see what they can do for 300, which is what I think happens. And then, then you give them something that fits their 300 and they're going, that's not really what I wanted. So they need to start opening up the back doors,
exactly.
And they do, so.
Yeah. All right. So back to this. So you get past the initial, consultation, the budget assessment, and you move forward. So you come up with some form of an agreement of what you're going to do for them and how much you're going to charge. That's, that's another topic for another time. That's a topic for our summit. We talk about that quite a bit at our summit. So let's talk about as-built plans, garbage in, garbage out. Now I look at this hand-drawn sketch of a building, and this is pretty good. Okay. I could probably draw the as-built off of this without too much difficulty. This would be an exception to the rule, I think, for hand sketch drawings, especially the ones that I do. I can't read my writing. I can't. Usually at first I can. It starts out good. I'm very careful, writing, printing really nicely, and then I'll look at my clock. I got to run, and next thing I know, I'm slopping stuff down, and then I get back and I go, oh God, now I forgot all this and that and the other things. So, but this is really a good example. I don't do this. I measure on site with my laptop when I do an as-built. So when I got to draw it anyway. So my mindset is, why not just draw it on site? I've been doing that always. As soon as I started charging for plans, okay. Yeah, I learned because I could afford to spend time on the job site. Back in the day before I had computers, I used to take a little portable drawing board to the job site, and I would draw it on site to scale. Don't miss anything. So I preach that. I've preached that forever. Many people have taken me up on that, and they do it that way now, and they love it. So, Ken from the summit talks about how, he adopted that method, and he won't do it anyway. And I'm that same way. So everybody's different. I get it. Some people are not comfortable doing that. I am. I've never had an issue doing that. So,
well, I think there's some tricks to that, though. I mean, realistically, one of the things, again, mentioning the summit, one of the things that I teach at the summit is that when you are using your computer, you're using Chief Architect to draw the plans, the as-built plans, every line looks correct, whether it is or isn't. Every dimension appears correct, whether it is or isn't. So you have to come up with a methodology that identifies, at least to you as the designer, which things are real and which things are assumed, which things are calculated, which things, and so you develop a process that allows you to look at it and know whether that dimension was made up or whether it was assumed or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. It's one of the things that I teach there, and we teach there. And if you're at the summit, you'll learn things like that.
So one of the methods I like to use is, I have a little laptop stand. I take jobs at my laptop. So I might start out in a room like this room right here, and I take my clipboard and I'll quickly go around the room and get all the dimensions for that room. And I can be as floppy as I want. I might sketch out a real quick rectangle, and I'll just put some numbers everywhere and make a note here and there. And then I go back to the stand and I draw that room. And so I'm not always going back and forth for dimensions. Now, if you have a partner with you that can take those dimensions while you're drawing it, you can do it really quickly. But anyway, then I just pick up my stand, I move to the next room, I rinse and repeat, move, rinse and repeat. I can get through a floor plan like this in about an hour, and I'll have that whole floor plan down with all the outlets and everything, heat vents notated, everything that you need for that project. It will be in the Chief file, ready to go. Then once you get all of the defaults set, you get the first floor outlined, the basement, the second floor, you copy pasting all the stuff. It goes so much faster. It really does work well. So, and I charge $150 an hour to go do an as-built. A house like this, 2-story with a basement, I'm going to have 5 to 8 hours, 5 to 7 hours in that as-built. So $1,000, which is probably cheap, really, in the grand scheme of things. But we have all the information that we need about that, and I know that building by heart. Nowadays, they have, you got your canvas, you got your Matterports, you got there's about a half dozen different services you can use now. And some of those are really good too. If you're just doing a floor plan like this, I think Canvas is okay. They'll do a reasonable job for you for 18 cents a square foot, I think. They'll draw it in Chief Architect file. I tried it and it was okay. I could draw it faster on site than I can to do the scan and then wait for the file to come back and fix everything they didn't get in there. It is, again, everybody has their own style of doing it. As long as you're getting a good as-built, that's the bottom line. So,
the primary topic of this hour that we're spending has to do with how to make more on your designs. And one of the comments that just came across after Dan said what he makes, whoops, that wasn't what I wanted. After Dan makes what he wanted on it is that Dimensions says, wow, $150 an hour, I'm underpriced.
Yep.
If everything has to do with your region, I don't know where you are, but if you feel like you're underpriced at $150 an hour, you are. So, so there are things as far as, what I was saying in this is that part of this has to do with your own confidence and the way that you present the fees that you're going to charge. As you establish emotionally and psychologically to your client that you're worth that much, they become aware and appreciative of that value.
Yeah.
So when I look at Dan's $150 an hour for doing as-builts or $1,000 total for that process of what he just described, doesn't seem like it's too high at all. No. If you feel like it is, we should talk.
Yeah, exactly. And what Kevin's referring to is mindset. Okay. So I know the reasons why a really good as-built is so valuable. Okay. Because I won't get into it now, but there's a lot of reasons. And
it's the most valuable drawing you can draw.
Exactly. That's the number one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like the heading says, if you start with something that's wrong, everything you do from then on is also wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So as-built plans, garbage in, garbage out. So if you've got a really bad as-built, guess what? The project's going to go bad. I never forget. I had a client in one of my classes once a long time ago, and we were talking about this. And he says, "Yeah, well, it was one day I was in a bit of a hurry. I had to go look at a bathroom. I took some rough I sketched out the bathroom, took some rough dimensions, and went back and drew it up and presented everything. Sold the project, and got a call from my carpenters that said, hey, yeah, your bathroom plan's off by 2 feet. What are we going to do here?" So 2 feet on a bathroom. Okay.
That's a lot of feet.
So everything had to stop. It all had to be redone, reevaluated. The project didn't end up well. So they did not make money on that project. So there you go. I mean, there's a good example right there. Conceptual ideas and plans. Again, this is this comes from your mind's guy for the most part, working in conjunction with your client and the people that are going to draw. You're going to help them lead them toward the kind of project that they really want that works and works within a budget. So that's that whole process. And then the preliminary planning stage. Now you've got to start really honing in on things and really getting things worked out. And then, of course, final working drawings. You got to put in the time to create the details, to create the sections, to create the models, to create all this stuff. And again, it takes time to do all of that. But when you have a good set of plans, as you can see on my plans, I like to show a lot of 3D stuff because it's not that hard to do. It makes for a really good set of working drawings. So, process of design. Again, think of all the different stages that you go through: the initial consultation and budget, as built, measuring the building, conceptual ideas, preliminary, final working drawings. Then you got to do the estimating, proposal, contractor documents, interior design specialists, structural engineer surveys. Okay, so yeah, kind of goes on and on and on, doesn't it? Someone's got to do all that stuff. Who's going to do all of that?
And who's going to assume that as part of their agreement? Because even if you're not the one who is doing the structural engineering, if the agreement that you make with your client suggests that structural engineering is included, then in the end, who ends up eating that bill?
Exactly.
You know, all of these things come into how to make more in your design, which is to also be very specific about what your inclusions and exclusions are.
These two things are becoming more and more prevalent in just about every design I get into.
They are.
You know, oh, we want to update our city records. We're going to make you get a survey because you want to put a new doorknob on your front door. You make sure you're close to not infringing.
That's actually that's actually happening in Kansas City now, that every project that goes into the city has to have a survey.
Yeah. Isn't that something? And who's paying for that? Well, the homeowner, of course.
Yeah.
And then structural engineering. More and more cities are requiring a stamp on a plan. Not mostly, I think, probably to cover their own butt. Not so much that it's needed, but in many cases it is needed. So, but I'm seeing that more and more on a lot of plans I work on. So just be ready for it, and learn how to charge those fees. What are your current qualifications? Your design you're a consultant, experienced designer, experienced contractor, builder, certified. Where are you at in your design journey, your professional career of doing this kind of stuff? So your pay should be commensurate with that experience. I think that's where I was going with this. How much? Well, I probably shouldn't have showed this slide. This is an old slide.
Yeah.
With your,
I'll talk about
that. We can talk about it for a minute.
Square foot, 35 cents. Yeah.
This is a really old slide. Just ignore it.
Only cost a nickel too. Yeah.
Yeah. A drafter, I guess there's still guys that'll do it for that, 15 to 25. Entry level designer, 25 to 40. Intermediate, 40 to 75. Experience, 75 to 250. Yeah, that's kind of within the realm of reality. Square foot house, that's not, well, I've talked to guys not that long ago that were doing it for 50 cents a foot. You don't get much for that. You get a floor plan and an elevation and maybe a typical cross section that they've just canned and copy pasted. But and then 550 square foot, that's going to be a little bit higher these days. But depends on the amount of service that you're going to put into the process. So it can vary widely. The as-built plan, as-built and the plan, 1% to 8%. Again, for real quick down and dirty plans, 1%. Maybe you could do that. I mean, if you're not charging now and you're doing 1%, that's a big step. So give yourself a pat on the back. Go do that. But yeah, I know contractors that are as high as 8%. Not architects, just contractors. I think kind of the average, about 5-ish, 4 to 5% would be pretty good average that I've seen out there. As-built plans and the estimate. Again, I know contractors that sell it in stages. They sell a conceptual for this price. They get into the more, detailed plans for this price. And then we put together all the documentation for that price. So they do it in stages, and they'll charge for each of those stages separately because it takes a lot of time to put all the documentation together for a set of plans that you're going to build. And of course, architects are going to be 5 to 18%. I guess these numbers still kind of hold true because when you look at the projects being built, they're so much more expensive now that the $300,000 house is now $500,000-600,000 or more, depending on where you're located. We're not including California or out east. But everywhere you go, it's getting more and more. So I'm going to stop here. We're going to, you could go to the website, chiefexperts.com, and look for this little handy dandy handout that we did. We're going to pick up on that. We're going to do this again. We'll pick up on that 15-point checklist. Let me bring up my site. Where'd it go? Thought I had it open here. Let's get over here. Here it is. So if you go to the home page, when you log in at chiefexperts.com and scroll down, you'll see some handouts. This one right here, how to make more money selling your design services. It covers a little bit of what we were just talking about, but it's got 15 points. You get that for free. Just hit the download and you can have at it and enjoy it and learn from it. And again, we're going to talk about those 15. It's actually more like 18 or 20 because it has been updated. So you can enjoy that. And when we get together, we'll do that again, talk about those points. But let's take a few minutes to talk about the summit that we got coming up. We mentioned that earlier.
Before we jump there is, if anybody has any questions and things, I'm looking at the chat stream and I'm not really seeing questions, a few comments here and there, but there is one question that just came in. So let's address this one. Do contractors and builders ever complain about the color in your plans, especially 3D parts and renderings? If they are, one of the two of you is doing something wrong, because the reality is the use of colors can really make some things obvious in the plans that are important to see, where in the traditional blueprints or in later black and white prints, you can't necessarily see the details you're trying to draw attention to. Now, if you happen to be using colors that your jurisdiction has designated as no-nos, or you do something like I'm using red to highlight these things in this plan, well, what's everybody do to highlight needs to change and everything else? Red. So that's probably a color not to use. So if you're using that, I could see why somebody would complain about it. Yeah. But when you're trying to identify, for instance, structural components, point loads, details that need to be highlighted, and you bring attention to them through the use of colors, shading, hatching, whatever else, those should actually improve your plans.
Yeah. So I recommend on every plan that you do, make sure you have a disclaimer on the page. Yeah, it says 3D views are not what they're are not necessarily the real thing, and they're just representations, and that includes, that would include the colors too. I've heard possible printing. Well, sure, just tell them to print in black and white or shades of gray.
They can do what they want to, but at least they can look at it on a computer and see the colors.
So when you're in Chief, if you want to see what your plan's going to look like in black and white, click that little icon right here, and that will turn the color off. And you kind of, the photographs or the renderings like this, why didn't the color go off on those? But it'll look like this, shades of gray. If you go pure black and white, there's a setting for that too. You would see that. When you print this, there's also, see like this, but there's also a, when you go print your page file, print
down.
There's a button on this sheet, come on, that says print in color. If you turn that off, now you can see what your plan's going to look like.
Including those 3D renderings that appeared in color. You'll see it the way that the printer would see it, which is all in grayscale and black and white.
Exactly. So yeah, if color drawings are an issue, and I mean, God, you go to some of these, Kinko's or FedEx or whoever prints the sheets now, they get $6, $7, $8 a page. It's like, are you nuts? They charge by the square foot. So hunt around. There are services out there that do them for a reasonable price. But that's what it would look like in black and white. Still looks good.
Hey, look at that. You got red down here.
Huh. Wonder why.
I don't know. Interesting.
Oh, well. I guess red is a new form of black, huh? Anyway, good question, though. But yeah, it can get really expensive to print in color. So good point. And all right, so let's talk a little bit about the summit. So those are the kind of questions you might bring up at the summit, and we could talk about that stuff and offer suggestions. There's always people that would say, yeah, I get all my printing done online at such and such a place, and that kind of a deal. It costs me $1 a page.
And all of a sudden, everybody grabs a pencil and writes that down. It's
yeah. So the summit we've done. This will be our 3rd one at this location. Well, 4th one actually. We just did 2 in 1 year, and we do this at a place called the Black Stallion. It's in Outer Banks in North Carolina, and we have a maximum of about 35 people, students, clients, whatever we want to call you, and we'll be best friends by the time we're done. But we have a bunch of us come, and we'll take really good care of you. So let me just kind of run down this. This is the sales page that you would see if you're at chiefexperts.com. Bunch of testimonials on there. You know, this kind of came up as in 2013, we did our first one 11 years ago now. Seems like a lot longer, but that was 11 years ago when I had this idea. I want to teach a class in Vegas during the Builder Show. And I thought, well, I don't want to do a conference room. So I thought, well, let's rent a big house and we'll fill it up and we'll just do the training there. Kevin, you were at that event, the first one that we had done that way. And we all showed up, and in fact, there's probably some pictures down here at the bottom that of us there.
The early days.
There would be some somewhere. Down here, don't even have that one on here.
Suffice it to say, it was pretty funny. We were using boom mics with a microphone strapped to a broomstick hanging over the top of a kitchen table.
That was fun. Yeah, we showed up. Being the first event, you know, you don't necessarily know what you don't know. So we're all standing in the house that evening going, "What's for dinner?" And it's like, I don't know. Never thought of it. So we piled in. There was like 10 of us, I think. We went to a grocery store. We loaded up 3 carts worth of groceries for the week, and we came back and took turns cooking. And it was one of the best experiences I think we've ever had. It was really a lot of fun. So from there, in the way this kind of happened is I was telling my sister Linda about this afterwards, and she says, "Oh, we'll come and do the cooking. That sounds like fun." And lo and behold, the next year we did it again, and they came and did the cooking, and it was like, my sister loves to cook for large groups, and it was phenomenal. The food has gotten so good at this event; it's just amazing. And
yeah, Dan quickly changed the emphasis of the event to come for the food, stay for the training.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's a saying that we go with now. It's on the sales page somewhere. So now we've grown it to we've got this big place in the Outer Banks that we go to. It's got 24 bedrooms in the house, and then we have another house next door with 6 bedrooms. So we got room for a lot of people. Some people stay elsewhere and they come for this thing, but we get there coming up this year. We'll get there on a Monday. We arrive on Monday and Tuesday, and then we do training Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we take Saturday off, and we do training Sunday, Monday, and then we got all day Tuesday and Wednesday to leave. So we have to be out of there by noon on Wednesday. And that 10 days, and most everybody stays for all of it. Seems like a lot, but it goes fast, and it's really an amazing time that we have together. So we got me, then we got John, who's been training with me or working as my assistant trainer for quite a while now, and he's become just so phenomenal with the software, and he's really a good teacher. And of course he's got a long background in construction as well, 30 plus years. And then we got Robin, who is our kitchen and bath and interior design specialist. So she will take a group of those and just are off to the kitchen design room with Robin. And she's a really good teacher. In fact, she teaches at a technical college in Portland. She runs I don't know if she runs the whole training program or just the architectural program. Yeah, she teaches chief in that school too. Then we have Mr. Brainiac here, Mr. Rabbit, Renee Rabbit. Many of you have probably heard of Renee. Phenomenal guy. Just, you can see the wheels spinning even in a still picture. of Renee, because he's always thinking and he's always got solutions for chief architect that are just phenomenal. Just
you can look into his eyes and just watch the gears turn. It's amazing.
He's really fun to be with. He's always got some new ideas coming. And of course, there's Mr. Kevin there, who is a big part of the event. So Kevin and his wife, Judy, come to the event now. And there's Margaret. Hey, Margaret, if you're on the call. And there's Scott.
Hey, Scott.
And you two you're the business end of our summit. So Judy is the technical office part of the thing with the how to run your office better, QuickBooks and all the different things, or accounting, those kind of questions. And of course, Kevin, you're part of that too, but you're more into the, how to run your design business and get the job done, et cetera, et cetera. And you're kind of good with Chief too yourself. So you've got a little bit to offer there too. So I've seen some of the stuff you've got. You do quite a job. And you're the Mac Pro too. So for those Mac users out there, Kevin's your guy. So that's cool. And here's our gang. There's my sister Linda, and Avis will be there with Doug, and my sister Mary won't be there, and Patty will be there. I've got two other people coming which aren't on here yet, so we'll talk about those two another time. There's Ethan Ashby, another genius chief guy. He's figured out some really cool stuff in the program. It's amazing what people figure out with the software program. And Ethan's a good example of just taking it to the next level, what you could do with it in your business. So it's pretty cool. We do have a little bit of fun when we're there, as in this picture you would see. So Kevin Renee has made Kevin into a chief architect symbol. And he's done a nice job with that. Kevin, when you did that, that was just so funny. That was so well done. You come rolling into the room. Here's our gang here. And here's the kitchen and bath group what Robin was leading. They were having a ball. And here's one of our training rooms. This is the room that I would teach in mostly. Plus we do events each evening is what we're doing here. I'm not sure what Renee was talking about at this segment, but I'm sure it was something to do with rendering or images or who knows what. But he gets into the more high level things in the program. Here we are trying out some goggles. So the walkthroughs in Chief Architect, which are pretty good actually. We've done those. Here's John and Patty. Here we do. This is when we talk about you come for the food. You do really, because it's really phenomenal. And Linda and the crew really serve up an amazing amount of food, really good food. So, and you can see when you're at these tables chatting, this is where the real business gets done, I would have to say. And here we are. I think this is our last day or second last day. Taking some pictures. Here's the teachers in the support group, and there's Robin, and there is Laura. She'll be back again. This will be her third time now. Missy, she's works with a guy in Lewisburg. They've been really busy. Yeah, I've been following her, and he's coming back. Mind blank.
Yeah, me too.
Dave. And
yes.
His wife and their dog.
And their dog.
Yes, they brought their dog. So, and then this was Mike. He was, I haven't heard from him. I got to get in touch with him. Here's Judy doing some presentation on some business stuff that we're talking about. Well, marketing, I think she was talking about. And again, here's where you get the real learning done. Is you pull up to the side and you start talking with each other about what you're trying to accomplish.
And suddenly you pull out your computers and start helping, and then a crowd gathers around because they all want to know what they're missing out on. And
and the next thing you know, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Here you are doing. Was this you doing one of your talks out on the deck?
Yeah.
We do little business meetings at lunchtime, talking about different topics. You were talking about. Oh, I was watching. What were you talking about here? It was really interesting. Something to do with design fees, I think.
I don't remember.
Here's our gang on the steps leading into the place, the Black Stallion. If you can go to the webpage and there's links to the Black Stallion. You can just Google it and you find it online. It's really a really cool place. They've done it's an event house. So they've done a nice job with that. So on this page, you can kind of scroll down and, choose what you get to choose what you want to learn. I record a lot of what I do. So if you can't attend one of my classes because you're in another, you can always go back and listen to the recordings, watch the recordings. Not everybody does that, but we try to get as much as we can. These are just some pictures from other things that we've done over time. The event in Coeur d'Alene, we always have a good time when we go there. We're always getting together with groups of people. This would be one of the Vegas events, I think. No, which one was this?
I recognize the house, but I can't place the location.
I don't either. Oh, this is Summit. This is Swan. That's a black stallion. Yeah.
I think that was the first.
And there's the kitchen. You're there working away in the kitchen, enjoying the food.
Sean.
We're making sauerkraut and dumplings. Those are always a big hit. Yeah, you never know by the pictures that we have a good time. So it's really quite an event. So here's the schedule of the event, the agenda. We try to stick to it relatively closely with times anyway. So we start breakfast and we go lunch so breakfast, lunch, and dinner are always at the same time. Our sessions, we go about 4 hours each time, 3.5 in the afternoon, and then we will do some evening sessions too. You're welcome. You don't have to, none of these are required, but I think they're almost always very well attended. So
they are, yeah.
Arrive. So the day 2 is arrival. Day 3, training day 1, 2, 3, the first 3 days. Day 6 is the day off, 7 and 8, and then 9, hang out and relax, and then we have to check out on day 10. So big commitment of time, but I can tell you it's a lifetime. It's one of those lifetime things that you'll remember every day of your life. So, and the information you come away with is just I learn more, I think, at these events than a lot of my students do. Well, maybe not, but not about Chief anyway, but other things. It's just so cool to be able to share all that information. So, and we do have, this is the kind of stuff that Kevin and his wife talk about, Judy. So we have unlimited topics that we talk about there. And here's some of the other summits. I do some smaller live classes, so that we do. And we always have a good time. This one was in Minneapolis, in Bloomington. Here's the venue. There's a little video about it. You can look here. There's still spaces available. It's filling up pretty quickly. So,
yeah, I don't know if you saw, but Mary Thompson, who you were asking about at the beginning, just said she signed up. So
that's right. Yep. Looking forward to seeing you again, Mary, by the way. So I know you've been to some of our other classes. So here's what's available yet. If it's not red and crossed out, it's still available. We have some rooms that have multiple beds in them if you bring in more than one person. And then we have our second location, which is literally 300 feet from the Black Stallion, and it's really a super nice house. We got a bunch of rooms in there. So come and join us. So there's testimonials, people talking about their experience, what's included, a lot. It's really, for the money, it's really a heck of a value when you think about it. The only thing, once you arrive there, you are taken care of till you leave. Everything is done for you. So single occupancy, you can do a 6 payment thing yet. I'll probably be taking that down soon because we're getting too close to Summit. If you have 2 people sharing a room and you're both coming to the classes, it'd be $84.95. If you're coming and you're okay sharing a room with another person, it's $42.50. If you are coming to the event and you're bringing your spouse or someone with that is not going to attend the classes, that's not on here, but it's an additional $9.50. So you can bring someone else if they're staying in the same room with you, in the same bed. So and then stay elsewhere. So if you have another place nearby that you can stay at, you can come for all the training, all the food, all the meals, hang out. Everything that we offer is there for you. So 129 days, coming up fast. And here's Grant. Who was that? Robin. That last night we were there, they were playing poker.
Yes.
And she cleaned house. I wonder if she kind of made us out. Oh, I don't know how to do this, and then she walked away with all the one money. That was so funny. Anyway, it's the chief architect people, the crowd, you guys that use the software and are in this business, you are so phenomenal. I don't think in all of the times we've been doing this, and Kevin, you've been to just about all of these events.
Yep.
Everybody is so cool. It's just so cool.
It is great. It's great.
If you choose the multiple bet option, do you choose the people and share the room? Or are we responsible? No, we would pair you with someone. We won't pair you with a opposite sex person. So if it's a male person, it would be another male person. We've done this for a long time where we've shared rooms. We've never had a problem.
Nope.
Knock on something. It's been we've been very fortunate that way. So people always manage to get along really nicely. When you think about it, you're only in your room to sleep anyway. So the rest of the time you're going to be up and about.
And given that it's a total immersion event, sometimes the amount of time you're there to sleep isn't very long anyway.
pretty much. And then we got some Q&A. If there's some questions down here, feel free to look it out. If you want to see what the Black Stallion looks like, and you can look at every room. I don't think the sea glass didn't have that, but you stayed in the sea glass last year, Kevin. That was really a nice place.
Very nice.
But they have a Matterport tour that you can look at the Black Stallion and walk through it. But that's so that's where you would come into the event, and there's back to the bedrooms, and then right around the corner here, you would see the dining area that we're at. Here's the deck that Kevin was teaching at that one day. We're gonna be a little later this year, later in March. So the weather should be really nice. We've been really fortunate with the weather there, so it's really cool. But you can poke around, look at every room in the building, and know exactly what you're getting into. So neat place. Any other questions? Richard.
But Richard threw a nice compliment out there. So.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. And it's always fun to see you, man. It was really cool to see you at our last event.
Hope everything was good for you down in the panhandle of Florida, these hurricanes and such.
Oh, yeah, everybody. All right. We got a chief question. Trying to create a corner sliding door, but I still get a wall in between. Why? Corner sliding doors. Corner doors get rid of the post. No windows do. I think you can do that with corner doors. You have to slam it into the corner, I believe. Or push it, or whatever you want to call it. I haven't done one of those in a long time. Let's see if I can remember this.
I think you've got to get rid of the casings to keep it from keeping you away from the corner. I don't remember for sure.
We'll try it real quick here. And then we're going to call it a day. This is the kind of questions that, we will figure it out at the summit. There's no question about that. So you put two doors in, and I think I know windows, you just control key it or push it.
Well, remember, you've got casing on there, so it's going to try to build the casing on the interior.
Well, let's take the casing off. Again, I haven't done one of these forever. Yeah, here we go. I could slide it to the corner, slide it to the corner.
You still have
there's a setting under options. Oh, where is it? Anybody know where the setting is to tell it to do that? I think under Windows, it's under.
Is this a situation where you're looking for the glass to connect to the glass? There would be no structural corner at all.
Yeah, you would want to. Yeah, I mean, you have it so that you open up the whole corner, slide the doors open.
Well, again, you've got jams on there, so it's going to try to put that jam in the corner too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of what I've dealt with. Let's shut the jam off. I thought there was again, I'd have to go play with this and look it up, but I'm not seeing it right offhand. I know with Windows, when you place Windows and you push them into the corner, there is a setting in the window that you can use. So I just hit my control key. See how it kind of makes a post there? Again, I just used my control key to push it in there. I don't think I tried that with the door too, and it didn't seem to do anything.
So, so yeah, if you pull the door there,
Man, it's still not working the
same
same.
situation, yeah.
But here you could open one of the windows, I believe, in under options or somewhere. Don't remember where it is. Sash. I think you would turn the sash off. And then you would do a corner mitered corner post. No post, just mitered under frame. Is there anything like that under doors?
We're about to find out.
No. I don't know if you can do it to doors. Good question, though. We can, we'll have to look into that one, bring that up at our next designer show. It doesn't look like I got rid of that post, does it? Didn't.
Nope.
Oh, I still have the sash turned on one of them.
Oh, is that the window? That's window.
There we go.
There.
So I've done this before where I've just used window casings. I've just taken the window and made it the size of the door. This is the workaround that you have to do sometimes. Then you just take a patio door and back to the plan wherever I put it. Too many tabs open here. All right, where'd you go? Where did you go? Here it is. So then I would just take the patio door and slide it on top of that window. And I've done it like that before and it works fine. So that's another way to do it. So use the window to do the opening and then just turn the casing and the jamb off on the patio door and slide it into that window opening.
Dimensions is yelling, it's in frame.
Yeah. Yeah. But it works. There's always a way. Worst case, you could make that patio door a symbol. If it doesn't cooperate, create the opening with the window frame, make that patio door a symbol, and then you could put it anywhere you want and just lock the symbol down and you'd be good to go. All right. Our hour was
a lot of cameras.
7 minutes ago. Oh yeah. This is version 20 of this project. So thank God I'm on the hourly basis with this project because they keep changing and changing. It's coming together nicely. I mean, this is one of those that we went up and then we came back down by a fair amount. So to become very simple, I'm just trying to get the front porch finished up here. They had I had a really nice one in there, I thought, but they said, they came at me with, come on, where'd I put my detail? What's that icon? Oh, that's the truss thing. All right, where'd you go? Did I close? I closed that window. So this is one of those where I had to do this to figure out how to do that porch. I had to literally draw the whole thing in 2D first because of how they want to do it. They want it to look like this. And it's just like, I've never done one like that before. I don't know how to build it. And so I had to figure out before I could draw it. See how it's all just wide open? I'm not sure if they're going to like it or not, but I've sure put a lot of effort into getting it to the point where they could build it if they wanted to. I figured, worst case, I'll have all this drawn anyway. And I just because we had initially come across with a beam and, we had done the old traditional beam like that. But the key here is how do I hold up this peak?
Right.
So we had to go to a,
you just do that with an invisible wall.
Smart. So we're doing this. We're going to a scissor truss, and or not scissor, but a parallel cord. So I had to kind of figure that out. So I think I've got it down now. Should be able to build it pretty easily, actually. Yeah. There were a number of other ideas we had, but it's coming together. Anyway, we talk about all sorts of stuff like that at the summit. You guys, thanks for being here. We're going to throw one of these together. We'll talk about those 15 reasons because those are really fun, actually. So be sure to go download that and read it carefully. And the other thing is, I forgot what I was going to say. The other thing is, if you have any questions about the summit, you want to chat about a space or staying somewhere else or whatever, just feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call. My number's on the website there, and you can jingle me up anytime. And Kevin too.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks
Dan and
much.
Kevin, thanks. Bye.